That's that. Ben, over to you. Now, you were in London yesterday at an event.
Absolutely. I was in the beating heart of the British political system where all of those ne'er-do-wells you've just been talking about like to hang out. I was just around the corner from the Houses of Parliament at the Emmanuel Centre last night. Beautiful, beautiful venue. And I was at an event that was being hosted there by an organisation called the Adult Child Health and Environmental Support Group. Acronym is ACHES, and the event was called Society Controlled or Free. Fantastic evening, actually, had by all in attendance, as far as I could tell. It was a really positive night out. It was great. More of this stuff, please. Maybe UK Column should do something. Hey, that's a good idea. So who was there? We had Mark Sharman, the former ITV and Sky News boss, 50-plus year veteran of the British media, who was screening some clips of his new film that he's making about the World Health Organization alongside Oracle Productions. That comes on the back of his other film, Safe and Effective, A Second Opinion, which came out in 2022. It's one of the most senior people in the British media actually out talking about the real stuff right now. So more power to Mark Sharman. Thank you for your work, sir. Looking forward to seeing the film when it comes out. We also saw Sandy Adams, who is a great friend of the column, and she gave a very quick but comprehensive history of technocracy and globalism and the entire globalist agenda, basically going back to the 1930s, right up to the present day, talking about the key organizations like the Club of Rome, the Rockefeller Foundation, Trilateral Commission, some of the key individuals like Maurice Strong, Dennis Meadows, and basically just outlining the global network of control that's been in development for the past 90 years. And when she presents it, everything just kind of clicks together. She got all the information. She's done a fantastic job. And she told a really, interesting story about waking up in the early 2000s while she was working directly with Microsoft and Google and beginning to understand their agenda for smart cities and the whole digital control grid that they're building. Sandy, thank you. It was a really great presentation. Also there we had Tess Lawrie from the World Council for Health, who are doing fantastic things, making some astonishing progress, actually. They've actually established national health councils in over 30 countries now, so they're actually up and running. She gave a brilliant update on the work that they've been doing. A few really just very kind of nourishing takeaways. She's got a really great way about her, Tess, and there are a few bits of advice. One was to be a warrior, not a worrier. Yeah, a warrior, like you fight, rather than a worrier who just worries. I really like that. And the idea that you have to create your way out of tyranny. You can't just wait for someone to come along and sort it out for you. It's on us to create our way out of tyranny. And actually, we have the opportunity to build something great for ourselves and for our children. Really optimistic message. Thank you, Tess, for coming along. That was a great presentation. Also, this gentleman, W. Scott McCullough, from Children's Health Defence, who I think we've probably done some work with. I know that there was a UK Column symposium, I believe, a year or two ago, talking about electromagnetic frequencies, 5G, and the kind of digital control grid. And I would imagine that Mr. McCullough would have been involved in that because he's very senior at Children's Health Defence. He's their main kind of outside advisor on legal issues. Really, really, really solid and impressive fella. I mean, his speech was fantastic. He used the term control oligarchs, which I really liked, and basically explained in extraordinary detail how this digital control system works, the dangers of electromagnetic frequencies, and also his solution to getting away from the control grid is to put the devices down and get a life, right? Which got a massive round of applause, and I think that's really good advice that we can all live by. A lot of discussion about the dangers of these systems that they're bringing in. So there was talk of the ULEZ cameras, and you may have seen this graphic doing the rounds, the idea that they're called C-46's extermination weapons, multi-fusion photon ionization radiation guns. Right, I'm not sure, I don't actually quite understand what all of those words mean when they're strung together like that, but I am certainly suspicious of all of the hardware that's being put up around our cities. And I think that you should be too. And then the kind of blockbuster showstopper at the end of the evening, Andrew Bridgen, who seems to be becoming something of a folk hero, actually. Received an incredibly warm reception. He delivered a very well-polished speech, actually. Some of the jokes have clearly been rolled out a few times now, actually, but we can forgive him that, I think. He was described as Churchillian, and in fact, someone was suggesting that maybe he should have a statue on Parliament Square. I'm not sure if we're quite there yet, but we'll see how the next year or two goes. And I've got a little clip here of Bridgen speaking in the Q&A session at the end about his views on youth and how to reach out to them, because a lot of people in the movement are very clearly concerned about that.
A problem. They have had the full indoctrination in the schools for the last 3 decades, and also nearly half of them have been to university and had another dose of indoctrination. When I first spoke out and got probably about 200,000 emails over a few months from around the world, it was amazing that the average age of the person who contacted me was probably in their late 50s or early 60s, and there were plenty of emails from 85-year-olds who could see what was going on. We're going to have to be patient with the young. They have had the full indoctrination, and they will be the last to wake up. And I think there's a wider message. We have to be gentle to an extent with those who've not woken up yet. It's a bit like I could drag someone to church and make them listen to a sermon, but I can't make them believe in God. And until the people are ready, all we can do is lay out the ground and the information for them, and in their own time they will come. But in the meantime, we've got to act, because we're the ones who know what's going on, and we've got to stop it.
I think that's pretty solid advice, actually. We've got to lay the groundwork. We've got to build community around the issues, actually. And the most heartening thing of the entire evening was meeting people, speaking to people, hearing about what they were doing. I've got a couple of examples of some of the leaflets that were being shared. So this here from the National Residents Association, if we can flip over onto the back, they've done this fantastic visual showing, what is a smart city? What are the different components of it? What are the dangers? And actually, wouldn't we just prefer having something which isn't smart and is more traditional? And I certainly would agree with that. And then finally, I had the chance to meet one of the people involved in organising Stand Together, who are focused on local action, waking up the masses, providing an alternative to the mainstream narrative. And they're really, really big on community outreach. And they've got an event coming up this Sunday, 14th of April, starting in midday at Grove Park in Carshalton in South London. So if you're in the area, make sure to go down and check it out. And I think that this is very much the direction of travel that we need to take: community outreach and building things back up from the ground up.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you for that. And thank you for going to that event.